Hello, everyone. My name is Vicki Rollerson, and the topic for my dissertation is on the Los Confederados, which is a Brazilian name for the Confederates who moved to Brazil after the war. So, why did they move there? They were disenchanted after losing the Civil War. Their way of life was over, many aspects of it. Lands were destroyed. The South, there was just devastation throughout because of most battles being there. Homes were destroyed. A lot of them were starving, displaced. Slavery was no longer an institution. The Emancipation Proclamation had been given, and there was no longer slavery allowed. So many Southerners, as Confederates, were not willing to join back up with the Union. They were willing to move thousands of miles away. You had some that went to Egypt, some that went to Mexico, some that went to what is today Belize, but many went to Brazil. So, how did they find out about Brazil? Don Pedro II, who was the emperor of Brazil, had sent an agent to the South, and he was interested in growing cotton in his country. So he knew the Southerners, were very knowledgeable in that. And so he wanted to offer them land, a way of life. Slavery was still legal there and would be until 1888. And so he, in turn, offered them land to settle there, begin communities um, in order to gain their knowledge of cotton, to become a top producer of cotton. So many of them took it up on him. Took him up on it, excuse me. And so the historiography of this subject has been written since the Civil War, or excuse me, since after. It's very sporadic. There's several different essays and journals and things that have been published. However, opinions have changed. What you would find mainly during that time post Civil War would be journals or instruction guides that were published for Southerners as a means of enticing them to come to Brazil. Maybe it was from someone who had been there, who had checked it out, and was letting the Southerners know, hey, this is a place where you can start over and keep your way of life. As time went on, you had some people explaining this and what the life was like and what were the communities that they started. You also, throughout the historiography, you'll find writings on how they brought Protestant religions and started the missions movement of the Protestant religions in Brazil. The state religion in Brazil was Catholicism. So these Southerners, who were mainly, Protestant, Baptist, Methodist, Presbyterian, Episcopalian, a lot of those religions, they brought that with them. And so they would start their own, studies and missions, getting that faith out. So you have writings about that and how they started churches and mission fields. As the time progressed, when you get into the 50s and 60s, there you will find some writings taking a more of a civil rights approach, since this was an era there here in the United States of civil rights. And here you would have historians or writers talk about the reason they moved is because they were racist, because they had been former slave holders, and so they were able to move, and they were able to continue that institution there in Brazil. And so what I have found so far, besides the articles that I am reading, I have researched for, I've found some correspondence written by some of the Confederates who moved there. I've been able to find those in some online collections in several universities here in the United States. I've also been able to email and have correspondence with the public archives in Brazil and in various areas there about the Immigration Museum. I've been in contact with them. And I've also been fortunate enough to email and have some correspondence with a gentleman whose ancestors were from Alabama, had been Confederates, and had moved there. And so his grandparents in his generation continue to live there, and they speak the English. They speak Southern English. They know some of the food. Those traditions have been passed down. So he is helping me out with some records and things to help in my research. So I'm really excited about this topic. I really did not know much about it, if anything, with years of teaching the Civil War in my history class, and also with the books I've read and the classes I've taken. This was never an aspect about the Confederates and those who wanted to move and get away from the United States. It was very new. And so I'm excited with the things that I'm learning, and I'm hoping to present some new findings and make this an interesting topic for someone else to read and to learn about. And so as I research this, I'm finding more and more. And I'm hoping to really delve into some of the lives of the people. I want to see their correspondence. I want to see where they come from and what made them decide to pick up and move over 5,000 miles away and start a new life to never return. And so that is my topic for my dissertation to present. Thank you.